I've gone by many names in my life, but Nona is by far my favorite name. If you don't know what the term Nona means, then you just ask any Italian. You will see their face light up as soon as they hear the name Nona. I have my grandchildren call me Nona now, and when I meet another Italian who hears my grandchildren call me that, you could just tell all of a sudden their face lights up, and for a moment they are taken back to their culture, to their memories of their childhood for a moment. And maybe they don't have their grandkids call them Nona, and they regret it because sadly our culture is kind of slipping away. We're getting caught up in whatever this new culture is that's going on now, and it's slipping away. And that is why I'm making this channel. I really want to preserve all that has been passed down to me. I recently had a couple deaths in my family, and I realized, especially when my sister died, that she was the only person left that I could share certain memories with. She was the only person left on earth that remembered my grandmother, my Nona. And I could say, do you remember when she said this or that, or did this or that? And she would, have that memory with me. And now she's not here. So there's no one left who remembers her. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm the only person left now who remembers my Nona. And all the things that she taught me and taught our family and what she did, who she was. And I thought, I want to preserve that. I want to pass that on. And sadly, I don't think my children are really interested right now. Maybe they will be someday. But if anything happens to me before they are interested, or before my grandchildren are old enough to understand, it'll be gone forever. And so I want to make this channel to preserve all of the things that have been passed down to me and that I hold in my heart. So this channel is going to be about Italian American culture and what it's like to be a Nona, and about cooking. I'm going to do a lot of cooking. I'm going to show you how to make everything. But I say Italian American culture because for a long time, I was hearing Italians use the word, oh, this is authentic Italian. And they kind of use that term to mean like this is more Italy Italian. So it's more legitimate, or it's somehow more prestigious or something. Because there's some kind of feeling among Italy Italians that American Italian food or culture is like less than them. And Italian Americans started to take on that shame that like we're not as good as Italy Italians, But we have become our own subculture here in America. Italian Americans have their own subculture in America, and it's a very special, amazing, rich culture. It's very similar to like the different regions in Italy, because even in different regions, the food and even the language or the accent will vary, because they didn't have the internet, they didn't even have cars or telephone, so people did not mix and connect the way that they do today, right? So they just stayed in their small communities. And so basically the food and the culture would be very much dictated by their surroundings. And, whether you lived in the mountains or whether you lived by the ocean, the spices that kind of grew just naturally around you. That's my cat in the background. I think all Italians have a cat too. But so each region varies in Italy, and I think America is kind of like another region of Italy, meaning the Italian American group. And when the immigrants came here, they really just had to make do with the food that was available here, whether it was spices or meat or vegetables. Um, so they had their traditions and their way of cooking, but they had to use what they had around them. And really, all Italian cuisine, whether it was in Italy or America, was really just stemmed from the peasant culture. It's, this cuisine, fancy cuisine today, but it really just was grown out of necessity. You know, you used what you had around you and you did the best that you could to feed your family. And it was mothers and nonas that were innovative and creative, just trying to make flavorful food for their family. And it became, you know, what we have as Italian cuisine today. And, each region has their own like thing that they're known for. Um, but so does America, American Italians. We have certain ways of doing things and cooking things that may be different than Italy Italians, but it's just as amazing. Um, and there's many, many more things though that bind us all together as Italians all over the world. You know, the way we celebrate holidays, for example. I was really, really impressed, I mean, amazed when I found this years ago. I found this Facebook group of Italians, and I realized that all Italians all over the world do exactly the same thing that I do on Christmas and Christmas Eve. The same things that I cook, they cook. I do this, I mean, exactly. I mean, down to just little tiny things that, like buying 2 loaves of Italian bread because you want to eat one and dip it in the sauce as you're cooking, and then you have one on the table for dinner, right? So even just little tiny things, all Italians do, you know. It was so unifying. It was so special to find that I was a part of this group all over the world, not just Italy, but any Italian all over the world. We all do exactly the same thing on Christmas Eve. And, not just the food, but our traditions. We go to midnight mass. We all of our religious beliefs, superstitions. We're all very superstitious. Um, so there are so many things that bind us together. So many more things that bind us together as Italians than separate us and our differences. And on this channel, I want to talk about all those things. I want to talk about the culture, the regions, the food. A friend of mine said to me he was watching, which I don't remember what show, if it was The Sopranos or something, I forget, Godfather or something, I forget. But he said that one of the lines in the movie was the guy said that Italians taught the world how to eat. And I thought, that's so true. That's what we all believe. That's what we all really think. Every Italian. We really, I think that's true. I think we did. I think we taught the world how to eat and enjoy food. Italians are known for family and loyalty and romance and love, passion. Whether it's passion for love and romance or whether it's passion for, family and making sure we keep our family together no matter what. Italian women may be tiny, but we're feisty. We always fight for our family. So I want to talk about all those things. I want to talk about the mafia, historical figures, art, literature, coffee, wine. I want to talk about all the things that are Italian American. So that's what this channel is going to be about, and I'm going to talk about them while I cook. But today I just want to continue with what a nonna is exactly in an Italian family and how it's changing, and it's sadly changing. When I was little, the nonna is the grandmother, is the matriarch of the family, and she has the bottom line say so, and no matter what, whether it's bridesmaids at a wedding or how much basil an Italian sauce needs, whatever the Nona says goes, and there's a certain respect that goes along with that. And it's really kind of sadly not there in today's culture. Um, today, there was there's no separation, when I was little. Today, psychiatrists really ruin things for culture, you know, just because they have an opinion and uh, give you that opinion when you go like for help, for therapy. People just or they write books and people just, take this, oh, well, the psychiatrist said this, so this is what we should do. And I'm like, they change society sometimes for the worse. Um, Today, people are so separate. You have a family, you move away from your parents, and you're separate. You now have the responsibility of your kids, not like your parents. Um, you're not like one family. In an Italian family, everybody is important and everybody is responsible for each other, no matter who you are. Every child is just as important, and their opinion and their feelings matter. But every child it's the responsibility of the whole family, not just the mother and father. If you need something, then whoever has it gives to them. It doesn't matter. Mi casa su casa. My house is your house. My things are your things. Everything that's mine belongs to you. If my sister was fighting with her husband or something, she would just come lay on my couch. I'm staying here. She didn't ask me permission. She didn't even knock at the door. She came in, I'm staying here. Okay, whatever. If my teenage kids were fighting with me and they went to stay with her or her stayed with me, it didn't matter. Her house or my house, it was the same. It was still home. I would stay with my grandparents, my aunt or whatever, it was the same as my parents. They had just as much authority. There was no, this is your responsibility and not mine. Everybody belonged to each other in the family. When I went to the doctor, my grandmother was there, my aunt was there, my mother was there, my sister was there. I had a school concert. The whole family was there. When my daughter had her baby, my daughter, I was there, my oldest daughter was there. We all went, it started to change and break apart. And it really upset me. And it started with the lack of respect for me. And when that happens, the whole family breaks down. The Nona is who keeps the entire family together. She holds the standards and makes sure the whole family is held to those standards and treats the family the way they're supposed to be. But that when that lack of respect happens, then that's gone, and then the family breaks apart. We're going to talk about in future videos how the Nona kind of keeps the family together. It's mainly through cooking. I'm writing a book called Let's Make the Meatballs, because you always make the meatballs. If someone dies, you make the meatballs. Someone gets married, you make the meatballs. It's Christmas, you make the meatballs. And everybody makes the meatballs together. And everyone comes together. And that really kind of keeps the family together, cooking and food. And these traditions keep the family together because it's important that all of the family is there and participates. And if that's ingrained in your head and well, I have to go and be there and I have to make the meatballs, and then it keeps the family together. But once somebody says, no, I don't have to be there to make the meatballs, then all of a sudden the family is just torn apart. It's really important to cook together and to stay together as a family. But in Italian families, it used to be anyway, of course, like I was saying, it's changing, but you didn't call the cops or call lawyers. You just beat the shit out of each other. Somebody was beating on their wife, well, their brothers and their cousins, they went and beat the shit out of him, and then he stopped. Everything was handled in-house in the family. Everybody was important and just as important as the other person. Everybody has their own brand of crazy. It doesn't matter, if someone's crazy, nobody shunned somebody or put them down. Everybody was important in the family, and you are loyal to your family no matter what. You stick by your blood no matter what. It doesn't matter what they do. You stick by your family, and that's it. And some people say, well, then what if someone's taking advantage and not doing their part? Well, then they get the shit beat out of them. Then that's what you do. It was today. I mean, you can't even like smack your kids, and you can go to jail or something stupid like that. And I'm not talking about child abuse. I'm talking about keeping your kids in line. But today, society makes it where you can't even do that. So it's hurting the family. But that's really kind of where the mafia started, taking care of your own. And we'll get into all that in future videos. But being a Nona, she was the leader of the family and kept the family together, and there was no separation. And it's not like you become a Nona overnight. You were first a child, and then you were a mother, and then you become the matriarch after everybody else dies and you're left. So by that time, you're seasoned, and you have, you're fair. You have that love for your family, and you grow up with that feeling that we're all one. There's no separation. We're all one. Someone wins the lottery. It's not that There's no one rich brother, one poor brother. If someone wins the lottery in an Italian family, it belongs to everybody. If somebody is having a hard time, it's everybody's problem. We all solve it together. It only works though if everybody has that same mindset. And it used to be that was just the culture, but now it's not. We're sadly losing that. Everyone had to come together to eat dinner. Now you have TV dinners, you have things that are just too easy and convenient, and you don't have to necessarily cook together in order to eat, and if you're hungry. So all of those things are breaking down the family and breaking down Italian American culture. But I want to preserve it. I want to pass down what was taught to me, and I want to do it through this channel while we cook, while we have conversations, things I want my children and my grandchildren to know, and hopefully that they will hold dear and pass down. Let me pause this for a second. So eventually I'm going to get better at these videos. I'm going to have better lighting. I'm going to get a stand. I'm going to get better equipment. I'm going to be showing pictures of the things I'm cooking. I'm going to share recipes with you, family stories, things about history. When the immigrants came to this country, they were very, very poor, and they had to overcome so much. And they continued to come here, and they continued to work hard and build their dream for their family, because it was even worse in Italy. They didn't have any opportunities to better their family, and it was hard here, and they were poor, but they had the opportunity to work harder and get further. And that's one of the reasons I'm against communism, is because you can't work harder and get further in communism. But in America, you always could. You could come here, and you might be very poor. You might have to overcome a lot, but you had the opportunity to, with your own ingenuity, not somebody else handing you anything or sharing with you. You did that in your family, but you worked hard and you got further. And that's what Italians did when they came here. And there's a rich, rich culture from our ancestors that came here as immigrants, and I want to honor them. I'm proud to be Italian American. I don't want to say, oh, this is only authentic if it's Italy Italian. No, our ancestors were Italian. They came here, they overcame a lot, and they gave us a rich culture, and they passed down traditions, and they and family values to us. And I'm proud of that. And I want to pass that down. So that's what this channel is about. And I'm going to make more videos in the future and post them. And I'm going to be posting really good food while I talk about these things. So I hope that you will tune in and join me. I hope that you will like and subscribe. And I'll see you soon.